free, and you can't hold me down. What's happening over here?
Oh my God. Because I hear this song and it's just so powerful, and then have you sing it on our.
Thank you for coming up with this beautiful idea of how Defying Gravity is so connected to midlife. And it's beautiful because also I coach teenage girls. It's really connected to their sort of first puberty coming into their power. But I love that you connected it to this stage of life. And I think everyone truthfully can find some meaning in this song. Anyone who's ever felt like an outsider, anyone who's ever felt misunderstood, but it really does hit home as someone in midlife. And there's no one I would rather do this with. There's no one I would do this with except for you.
Hey, girlfriend.
Hey, girlfriend.
Oh my goodness. Okay, today we're doing this whole thing on being in midlife and why does this song Defying Gravity grab so many of us by the heart and take us all over the place. I really want to deep dive. And I remember sending you a message. I was emotional and I had tears in my eyes after hearing it. And I was like, girl, we got to do an episode on this.
Oh my gosh. And for those of you who understand where we're coming from, we're talking about Wicked, the musical, especially the recent movie adaptation of it, which I got to see at the Grand Lake Theater, sitting there just with tears streaming down my eyes. So yes, I relate to this on so many levels. And I love your connection to midlife and the changes we're going through, and even embracing a bit of witchiness.
Witchiness, yes. And kind of going our own way. There's like so much to unpack.
There's so much, girl.
We are going to have so much fun. So girls, buckle up with us. Get something warm and inspiring to drink because we are going there. But I thought first we could just be like...
Ooh, and sorry, one more plug. And
yeah.
I am even going to be giving us a little mini performance. I just relate to this song so much that hang out near the end, you'll get a little free performance from me.
Yeah, it's not every day a vocal coach and a real bona fide singer performer is gonna like lay it down for us.
Woo, wish me luck, girl. It's Monday morning. We're gonna make it work.
We are gonna make it work.
What is this morning? Tuesday morning. It feels early. It feels like Monday
Brain
morning.
fog is real.
Brain
it's all
fog.
good.
Yeah.
Welcome here. So, but we're kicking this off at the beginning of the year and happy January.
Thank you.
Happy season 7.
Happy season 7.
Girl, where are you at? What is happening with you?
You know, girl, I feel like you're probably going to be able to relate to this. Like, personally, I'm good. Personally, I feel really solid, but I feel like it's sort of like an act to do that right now with all the craziness going on in our world. Yeah. So as we know, we're in the United States about to enter into a whole new election cycle that is making us all just be in utter shock. As you know, we were big advocates for Kamala Harris. It did not go that way. So just trying to process that has been a lot. And there's just a lot of things happening in the world right now that are honestly pretty heartbreaking. But I saw this quote and I'm really holding on to it. And it's like, my sort of radical activism this year is to stay grounded and like stay in my truth regardless of what's going on around us, because we can get caught up in that whirlwind and before we know it, we've lost ourselves.
Right.
So staying grounded is going to be key, I think, for the greater world at large. And then personally, I'm good, girl. I'm on fire. I'm doing more workshops for women around public speaking and my Love Your Voice community, which, ladies, you are welcome to join at loveyourvoice.me, is growing and expanding. And we are just saying all the things in there that I think are really important in this year. So I'm doing well, honey. How about you?
So similar.
Yeah.
Election stuff's been really hard for me to process and hold, and that we are stepping into this new time in this new phase. So I feel horrified and excited and exhilarated all at the same time, which I find very confusing in this moment. And the other thing happening for me is, and you've heard me talk about this, but I'm being more out about it, is that I channel. I'm getting information from someplace else, and it's been very empowering and enlightening. It's been happening to me for years, and I'm embracing it now, making a lot of sense of it. And my work is shifting. So now I am supporting working moms over 40 and we're like talking about living big, but doing it more in the slow lane. And so
Mm.
if you're curious about that, you can join me over on my Substack, and you can get to me over at worklifemotherhood.com. So I'm really excited. There's a lot of newness happening. I have a lot of excitement about this podcast.
Oh yeah. Hello.
Whoa, this is our time, ladies. And so to
Woo.
kick it off by talking about defying gravity in
Mm.
midlife, you're through menopause. I might be on the journey. We're still like, is she, isn't she? I ain't there yet. Haven't hit the menopause day yet.
But you're close. You're
But
close. You're a few months into it.
I'm a few months into it, and
Mhm.
I'm feeling really good.
That's
And
great.
so you and I were processing this on a hike recently, and you said something to me that just struck me, and you said, you might be past the worst of it. And
Mm.
I've been holding on to those words because it's been like a salve from my heart.
Oh,
Because
good.
I do feel like I'm leveling out hormonally.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, I'm on fire around my work. And this, I might be having some butterfly wings. Instead of
Yeah.
being the goo,
Yeah.
inside the chrysalis.
Right. Coming out the other end.
Yeah.
And every woman's experience is different, but I think especially for me, the perimenopause, which goes on for years and years, was where our hormones were so much less regulated.
Yeah.
Once you go through the menopause, it's like your body sets up new shop, but it's working more with like consistent hormones from there on. They're different, and it takes a little while adjusting to them and getting used to them, but it's not like 1 month you're flying high with estrogen, and then the next you're like bottoming out without not enough of, progesterone or whatever. So you smooth out a bit once you
Wow.
go through the menopause.
Even hearing you say that, I can feel
Mhm.
my cords relax. Okay, right.
Yeah.
Right, that's what's happening. And you've been through it, and like you get to tell the tale. And
I
you
mean, and
felt
that's
so happy,
anecdotal.
too.
So to be
It is
fair, everyone
anecdotal.
has different experiences, but
Yes.
I do, that is mine, and that's my hope for us all, right? That's
Yeah.
my hope for you.
Well, I'm excited, and
Yeah.
I'm embracing this. So let's
Are we diving into
Let's
the
defy gravity.
wickedness and
And-
defying gravity?
yeah, and
Yes.
stick around because I do want you to hear Jessica sing this. I am just like
Me.
so excited and delighted and honored that you'd be sharing this with.
Oh my gosh. Well, this has been a song near and dear to me. I've always loved this song, and a lot of my vocalists absolutely love this song. So it's a very, very special song in the singing community, in the musical theater community. This song, Defying Gravity, is it's like one of the golden standards for sure.
It is, and then Cynthia Erivo,
Oh wow.
hats off.
Hats off.
I'm just getting all kinds of chills. There is some way that Cynthia is embodying this song
Yes, she is.
in a way I've never felt in a song before.
Yeah.
And then learning about her process, how she had to retrain herself to sing while
Mm.
being flung from one end of a soundstage to another and singing this Bad Larry live.
Yeah.
There is something about the ownership and the caretaking of a character I've never heard anyone talk about.
Yeah, it's
Before.
amazing. She really does honor her craft. And if y'all haven't seen the movie, it is now available on demand, and it is well worth the investment. It is fantastic, and she does an incredible job. Also, she is one of the only very few Black women to ever perform this role, which is really ironic because the novel on which this is based absolutely is commenting on race and colorism. So the irony that we aren't seeing this until or very, very little representation until the big screen, it's so wonderful that she gets to reclaim this for herself and for all Black women.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think anybody who feels like they might be on the outside looking in, I think that's a big
Yes.
part of what this song speaks to. So I'm showing up here today, y'all, with 10 points that I don't know if we'll get to all of them. If we don't get to all of them, we'll put them on our Substack
Okay.
so that our subscribers can have them, so you can come
Yeah.
join us. Do you remember our URL?
Girlfriends of a certain age.
.com.
Yeah.
Thank you. I couldn't remember.
Girlfriends of a certain age, helping each other out.
Oh, and I have to say, I am getting over laryngitis. That is why I sound weird in season 7, but it's getting better.
I like it. I told her it's like a husky Demi Moore. I'm here for it.
I know. I love it every time it happens. My husband's always like, yeah,
Uh-huh.
I'm into it.
I'm like, lean into it.
yeah, I am.
Mhm.
So I've got a few more days left with her Demi Moore.
If they
Golden
still
Globe.
did those phone sex, little
Oh.
calls, you could be a
I can make a
prime.
little side
You can make a
hustle.
little. I think those are gone, but call 1-900.
I love it. So the first thing that I
Mm.
wanted to talk about
Yeah.
with this song, and part of what grabbed me so much, was this idea of reevaluation of identity. And who are we at midlife? Who
Mm.
are we through this stage of perimenopause? Like you said so beautifully, hormones are up, they're down. Who was I before I even hit puberty? And so who the hell do I get to be, have the audacity to be
Mm-hmm.
in this powerful stage of life that we call midlife?
Mm-hmm. And are we going to embrace it? Are we going to lift off? Or are we going to crash and burn? Or are we just going to kind of, you know, plateau? There's so many options that I think sometimes feel out of our control as far as like hormones and bodies changing happens. But what mindset do we get to put ourselves in to
Right.
reframe this part of life so that, as we know, one of our big missions here on the pod is to not fear it, but to embrace it
Mm.
and to find all the good, to acknowledge the hard, right? Because we're real, but to like reframe it in a way that, hell yeah, we're going to fly. We're going to soar.
Yeah, no matter how you see me, I define who I am.
That's
Something
right.
I'm telling my kids all the time.
Mm.
No one defines who you are, what you are. You define that. No one says who you, this speaks to what we're dealing with at home, where you get to eat lunch, who you get to eat lunch with, what kind of person you are. We
Mhm.
define that for ourselves
Ugh.
all day, every day. And if we don't do it, the world will do it for us and has been doing it quite handily. But we get to shake all that off now.
Exactly. I love that you're already like prepping your kids for that mindset because, you know, we talk about being recovering good girls a lot, and there's great episodes about that. And one of the challenges is looking outside of ourselves constantly. Am I allowed to do this? Is this okay to be this way? Is this okay to think this? Is this okay to say this? And there is such a liberation at this age that I hear from so many women. In fact, I was just at another woman's 50th birthday party on Sunday, and I said, girl, how's it feel? How's it feel? You've crossed over. I'm just on the other side. How are you feeling? And she said, I don't give a shit anymore. And I was like, yes,
Hot damn. I
this
love it.
is what we're living for.
Yes.
This is what we're living for. And she said, I just feel great. I just don't give a shit anymore. And she went to explain how that was with her work and her family. And I was like, I am here for that. Yeah. Okay.
So the next one that I'm bringing to us today is, and I've got my little notes here, is rebellion against expectations. Ooh, I just like want to take all of the world's expectations for me and just like go through all the ones that I accept or like or resonate with and the ones that I don't. And I want to rebel. I want to be rebellious. I want to take back my power, and I
Yes.
want to do it in a noisy, crass, difficult, however you want to see me doing it. I don't care.
Yeah.
I am going to make my own rules now moving forward.
Absolutely. And that's what's so empowering also about the fact that Elphaba, who sings this song, is a witch, and not only a witch, but a very like outsider witch. She's literally green. And she's basically saying like, screw it, you know, like I could never fit in anyways. I tried
Right.
every which way I knew how. I'm doing it my way now.
And it turns out that's where the secret sauce is for you and for me
Yeah.
and for every girlfriend of a certain age listening to this right now.
Absolutely. I think we are craving authenticity as we're in this world of, you know, so much fabrication and fakeness and the social media gloss. We want authentic. And I think the more we can live in our authentic, the more we attract that. And then how good that feels, right?
Mm.
And the less authentic we are, that's what we're going to attract.
Yes.
So this is our opportunity to be real.
This
I love
is
it. Yeah.
This
Well,
is
I
it.
love that, girl. I'm
Yeah.
all for that.
Well, so my third one is all about friendship and connection, which of
Mm.
course is the hallmark of what we are doing here.
Yeah.
And it really was an excuse for us to hang out together on Tuesdays and just be together.
Just turn the recording on, right?
But the level of connection and friendship and
Yeah.
like support and honoring of the journey that you and I are on.
Yeah.
And I don't know, we have so much in common. We were genuine friends to begin with.
Yeah.
But this has deepened it so much. And there was something about the way that resonated between the Glinda and Elphaba characters in
Yeah.
Wicked and the way it comes through in this song. Oh, I'm just getting, it's just a chill fest. Just over and over and over again.
Mm.
The chills that I'm getting, because that is one of the things I hope that every girlfriend has in her life. I want you to feel so connected to yourself and your
Mhm.
values and who you are and what you are and why you are. But I want you to have a sister on the journey with you. And it's part of what you and I are trying to bring. We have such a loneliness epidemic happening, not only
So
in America,
much.
but across the world.
Yeah, yeah.
And so you and I are curing some of that in a small way through our own community at girlfriendsofacertainage.com.
Absolutely.
But we want to spark that alive for you so
Yes.
that you have that in real life. Someone you can hike with or share recipes with or whatever the things that you're into.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And doubling down in that, because when you look at the sort of happiness scores and the longevity scores, friendship and community comes up time and time again.
Yes.
So I think now is the time, especially in midlife, to really cultivate those sorts of friendships that we know are going to weather the storm, that are going to like age well, right? And yeah, girlfriends, you are more than welcome to join us. This is what we're living for, and it's been so impactful when I hear friends and people reach out and say, what you're talking about is exactly what me and my girlfriends are talking about. So like, come on, join us over on girlfriendsofacertainage.com, because we are all about building community, and you can make some connections, and who knows, maybe, a great new hiking buddy can come out of it.
Absolutely. And the culture, like with Elphaba and Glinda, the culture does not support women really supporting each other.
Right.
They're all, I don't know about you, but I was raised, not intentionally, but the culture taught me that women were my enemies. I was
Mm.
to fear them. They were going to
Hmm.
take my man. I was going to take theirs. There wasn't enough. We had to compete to the death. And
Mm.
I had to resent the hell out of you if you didn't agree with me. And now that I'm in midlife, I'm like, oh my gosh, that was just so much garbage. And I was
Yeah.
spoon fed it throughout my life. And that's what I saw. It's what I saw in movies.
Mm.
I don't want to live that way.
That's so interesting. I didn't quite feel that way, but I did feel the power from men always felt like more. And there was
Mm.
something about my gravitational pull being towards men, whether it was whoever
Oh.
I was dating, or a
Mm.
father figure, or whoever was like in command of a project that I was on. And even though I would like get along really well with women, there always just felt like this first class, second class citizenship. And I'm laughing. It has flipped now. I mean, I love you men. I have a fabulous partner. I love my father. I have beautiful boys. But I am so much more curious to bond with women. I want to hear your story. I want to hear how you are enduring, how you're showing up in your life. And so I just think there was like a power structure that seeped into me
Mm.
that I am really letting go of now.
Oh, I love that. There's this movement now, this idea of decentering men. Not
Yes.
like men don't matter, because
Right.
obviously you and I love men tremendously, but this idea of, right, why do we take our value from men or who we're married to or who our sons become
Right.
or that only a man can be president or things like that.
Right.
There's this idea we have to stop feeding that storyline as much.
Absolutely. We have to
Yeah.
fight against it. I mean, they're literally in every, money bill we ever use. You know what I mean? Like,
I thought
they're
about
just centered everywhere. So I love that idea of decentering. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Well, then we can move on to my next topic, which was this
Mm.
idea of navigating adversity. How
Mm.
do we do that as powerful women in this life? And getting all these themes from the song Defying Gravity, right? Like
Mm.
this is like what sparked all of this alive for me, and part of why I'm like I can't stop listening to this song and crying almost every time I hear it.
Mm.
But I'm thinking so much about how it's time in my life now where every single thing I've learned, it's time to implement it,
I love that.
especially when the you know what hits the fan or it feels
Yeah.
like the sky is falling. I have a lot of tools in my tool belt. I have a lot of skills, I have a lot of abilities, I have a lot of fortitude. And
Hmm.
it's not just me, but I look out in my friend community, in my family, in my neighborhood, and I'm realizing, oh, it's all of us.
Yeah.
All of us when things get difficult. And I feel like our country is facing a very difficult time right now.
Oh,
These
yeah.
fires in LA, to
Mm.
our sisters in LA, my heart goes out to you. And
Absolutely.
I know that I'm starting to mobilize with my own community.
Oh, yeah.
How can we be supporting our sisters in LA to rebuild and just to be surviving
Yeah.
right now? And so I know we're all facing adversity in
Mhm.
different ways.
I love that. I'm also going to take a kind of, unique perspective about the song itself and the song structure.
Mm.
It's a beautiful song, and it has so many dynamics. When you hear the song, it starts off, it's very quiet, it builds, it comes back down. It's taking us on a roller coaster. And then by the end, there's this glorious section where she's singing up at the top of her register. And then in the film, not to give it much away, but you can imagine that she's finally taking flight. And that movie section is gorgeous. And it's all about the roller coaster. It's all about singing and moving and breathing through those ups and downs. And we've got some life experience by now.
Yeah.
We've been there, we've done that. We know a bit more. We know what's worked. We know what's not working any longer. And I think it's really fun. You can like catch yourself quicker on things. And I think just knowing yourself is where it's at. I think that's how we're going to get through the adversity.
I think so. I know for myself, I'm noticing I don't feel as attached to this stage of my life to being right anymore.
Oh my gosh. Isn't that a great thing to let go of?
And people who are like, I'm right. I'm like, okay, bye, Felicia. And I just like turn around and walk away. And I'm just like, oh, I feel bad for her. She's like really struggling in her rightness. Oh, I hope she finds what she needs. And I move on. I'm just like so done.
Because we know that black and white thinking doesn't actually make anyone feel good.
No.
We know that it can feel simplified, and we're seeing that play out on a grand scale with othering people and with making people the boogeyman. It fits into a neat little box, but it really doesn't bring any happiness or satisfaction. It's just, you're going to constantly never win in that black and white setup. So yes, oh my God, I love living a more out loud, messy life now.
Oh, yeah.
And also, how do we keep learning? We have to mess up and fail time and time again.
And
so I'm all for that.
Exactly. And part of that is having some room to hear other people's perspectives.
100%.
And like, how do I dance with that? And is going to resonate with me. Kind of like guitar strings. Either it's going to be like, oh yes, or we're like, ooh, that's a little off for me.
Yeah.
And I love that. Like I feel like I'm living more from the inside out these days.
Yeah, that's right. And I love learning about stories. I want to stay curious. I want to know what's going on in other people's lives, especially women, here and historically. Yeah.
Here's some more of that.
Yes.
Well, the next theme that I pulled out of the song, Defying Gravity, was this idea of redefining success. Right? And it a little bit talks about like some of our earlier themes was like how the world sees you or what the world sees as successful. But also like I've been thinking a lot about what I defined as successful, and now seeing this big, beautiful life that I've created for myself, and I'm still obviously creating, is that it feels different. Like now that I'm living it, it's like, oh, some of those things that I thought I was chasing, that I thought were success, turns out aren't. And there's so many simple little things in my life. I'm like, no, this feels like success. Like sitting here having a warm tea with you in your beautiful studio, and having a podcast and a reason to get together or a hike. I don't know, so many things in my life, and they're so small and so gentle, but so impactful to me.
Yeah. It is. It's the little things. It's the little things. I just think when you're younger, you're chasing big dreams, right? And then what can happen often is, well, you achieve some and you don't others, and then you have to kind of reflect on it. And I think this time of life can force us to slow down because literally we can't move as fast. And then I think you do think, did that all add up to what I thought it was going to be?
Right.
And again, I think no, I think it's these little moments. It's these little precious moments throughout our day that are tangible and real. I feel that 100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, the next one that I have is actually very much inspired by you, which is this idea of embracing power and voice. And I'm going to tee you up here in a second because I mean, you have taught me so much about, well, of course, my vocal instrument, which I've always been like voice curious and very shy about. But then here, I make my living by using my voice and speaking and coaching and supporting women. But you have given this a whole new flavor,
Mm.
especially like with your workbook. I don't even know
Mhm.
if the girlfriends know all the, I guess they know about your workbook from last season, but I feel like you're
No, but
doing,
please plug it a little more.
I
Love Your
want
Voice
to.
workbook available on Amazon. It was
Yeah.
such a wonderful new step for me to really
Yes.
step into that, being that vocal.
But having a front row seat to you in the creation of that process and getting
Mm.
early access to reading it opened up so much for me. And this
Mm.
idea of speaking up more, because this has
Mm.
been so stifling for me in this good girl story that I had to be good to survive. And I think there were parts of my childhood I did have to be good to survive. And so
Right, it was a
it served
survival
me.
tactic for a while.
Yeah, it
Yep,
served me well.
yep,
It just stayed, I just kept it on too long.
sure.
But how you have, and now how you're encouraging all of us as women at a certain age to, how do we do that? And how do we have hard conversations? How do we push back? How do we say respectfully,
Yeah,
I hear you and I disagree?
absolutely.
Yeah.
And no,
And
and
no.
boundaries.
Hmm.
And also, yes, I want to help, and here's how I can.
Right.
Doing all the things. Well, I love that. I love that you're feeling that. I mean, I am on the exact same journey. I just had all of these epiphanies over the last few years, really going through the hard stuff of menopause
Mm.
to realize how valuable older women's voices are, midlife and beyond, and how they're so often dismissed and ignored and belittled, and it couldn't be further that from the truth, as we know. And like stepping into this whole new administration, I mean, we are just going to see some buffoonery, and we know how powerful we are, but it may not be mirrored back to us. So yes, I'm here for that with the workbook, helping women, just really giving them like some tangible ways to maybe broach a hard conversation with one of their relatives who they still want to have a connection with. Asking for that job promotion when you know you damn well deserve it, but you're a little tongue tied about how to ask for it. I mean, these are the things that I think come with experience and with some wisdom and with some failing, frankly.
Right.
Right? When you're young, you're pretty idealistic and you've got the whole world ahead of you. And by our age, we have some ups and some downs. And I think that positions us in a really nice place to help coach people. So
Yeah.
I'm so glad. I'm so
Yeah.
glad you feel that way. Yeah, I think we all need to be using our voices as much as we possibly can.
Yeah, I say we just segue right into your singing. I've got a few more points written down for us, but I'll include those in our Substack so you can get all of them. But I want to help my girl get ready because Jessica Neighbor, who is an international voice coach, she is a performer, she is a singer, she is all the things, and I'm so proud of you.
Mm,
And I'm really honored that you would share your voice in this way with
mm,
girlfriends at a certain age.
mm.
So I want to get out of the way and be quiet so our girl can
Well, thank you.
mhm,
I'm going to move our little mic over here and
mhm.
get queued up. And as I said, this is a song that's near and dear to me and to many people who are singers, especially in the musical theater community. This song was originally made famous by Idina Menzel, who is also another incredible performer, and the message is still so true to this day. So I have my little lyrics here just to glance at once in a while. Take a quick sip of tea. Something has changed within me. Something is not the same. I'm through with playing by the rules of someone else's game. Too late for second guessing. Too late to go back to sleep. It's time to trust my instincts, close my eyes, and leap. It's time to try defying gravity. I think I'll try defying gravity, and you can't hold me down. What's happening over here?
Oh my God. Because I hear this song and it's just so powerful, and then have you sing it on our podcast. It's incredible.
I wish I had tissue, girl.
It's okay. I'm okay. Part of it's the hormones. And part of it too is that this is what this song means to me, and I cannot hear it without crying and feeling emotional, and to be in the presence of you and digging deep, and it's really beautiful.
I love that. I love that. And I thank you for being so emotional and so open and just so raw. I mean, I feel like we all need to live by your emotional openness because it's so beautiful to witness. Thank you. I was singing and I glanced over at her for 1 second. I was like, oh, girls crying. I can't look at Flesché. I can't look at Flesché.
All the girlfriends, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see me crying because I was. But this is really beautiful. And so I hope our girlfriends, I hope you feel as touched, even just a teeny tiny bit. Yeah. Jessica, thank you.
Oh my gosh, it is my ultimate pleasure. Thank you for coming up with this beautiful idea of how Defying Gravity is so connected to midlife. And it's beautiful because also I coach teenage girls. It's really connected to their sort of first puberty coming into their power. But I love that you connected it to this stage of life. And I think everyone truthfully can find some meaning in this song. Anyone who's ever felt like an outsider, anyone who's ever felt misunderstood, but it really does hit home as someone in midlife. And there's no one I would rather do this with. There's no one I would do this with except for you. So it was my ultimate pleasure.
Yay.
Yay.
Girlfriends, thank you for joining us. Season 7 is going to be off the hook. We cannot wait to bring you all these adventures and experiences. Share with us what this episode meant to you. Share it with a girlfriend if this could support her. Subscribe. Join our Substack. Come join our community. It's free, ladies. We are here for you. We love you.
Yes, and if you do join, let us know how this song lands for you. Is there a lyric? Is there a moment in Defying Gravity or in the film adaptation of Wicked that just stands out to you? We would love to hear your thoughts, and we'll be chatting back with you there when you join. Well, girlfriend, this was a delightful way to kick off season 7. I think we are flying high, girl.
Yeah, Defying Gravity. Let's keep going. I love you.
Okay, Bye.